What did you expect? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. You gotta remember that these are just simple farmers. These are people of the land. The common clay of the New West. You know. Morons.
And welcome to
Morons
Mince
Mince
Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II and Akam. He was bred in the 80s, but he was made in the 90s. I really fucked that up. God damn it.
Just a little bit.
Let's start this over again. Hold on. How did it go? Okay. Welcome to Morons
Mixed Movies.
I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II and Akam. The 80s bred me, but the 90s made me Arturo.
There we go.
Man,
That
what a
is
tongue twister.
What I
I'm
wanted
surprised you
to
didn't
say.
mess that one up.
I know. I feel like if I would have done that twice,
It would have been very
It would have
difficult.
sounded just as nice.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
up, guys?
How we
Fuck, it's
doing?
been a minute.
Yes.
Yes. Apologies for no episode the last
Yeah, I wonder what
week and a
happened.
half. Well, what happened was that it's always my fault usually, apparently. Anyways, but
It's a bingo.
let's not get into that because today we're talking about.
Well, real quick, before we jump into what the subject, does anyone want to say anything about anything?
Yeah. I
What?
think you're enjoying a frosty beverage on behalf of a special day that just passed.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
I guess.
That's not what we were going to talk about?
I don't know.
I read the cards
yeah.
wrong. Never mind, Sam. Fuck you. What are you talking about, Arturo?
we're drinking some good beer
we
today.
are drinking. Yeah, we can go over the beer, but
Yeah.
I was referencing something else. I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to say anything.
What happened?
To me in particular.
What did you do?
Well, then I will congratulate myself.
What the hell, man?
it's been-
Now you're making me feel
You're
bad.
becoming a bartender. Is that it?
No. I've been with you guys for over a year now.
Oh,
Jesus.
You're the only one
You
who's
really,
counting
yeah,
that.
man.
Like
Arturo. Fuck, man.
I have not been counting.
Has it been a year?
Yeah, I was first a guest in early August on the Nope episode, and then Film Criticism back to back.
And
then I was made an official moron off screen.
Shortly after that.
But then Sam got COVID. I showed up as a temporary host for 2 episodes back to back.
right.
Then the one where I was announced as a host didn't see the light of day because the recording went awry. And then I showed up
That's
technically as a
right,
guest,
Sam.
even though I was already it was a whole thing. But yeah, I've been with you guys for a
Damn.
year now.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah, dude, it
Arturo,
has
I hope you don't blame us for being morons on
No,
this
no,
one,
no,
man.
not at all.
You really are the one that keeps up on that. God knows we wouldn't know what number episode we were on if it wasn't for you keeping count.
Yeah,
So-
you're the one who brought up the idea that we're getting close to 100, which, by the way,
true,
this
we
is
are.
episode 97, I believe.
Oh, shit. We're
So
getting
we are
close.
3 episodes away
And
from
we still
100.
have no idea what to do with that 100th episode.
No
No, we
idea.
don't.
We're probably
Any
going to
ideas-
wing it like we always do with
Ideas or
everything.
suggestions would be helpful. But I want to bring it back to Arturo. Dude,
Congratulations.
the past year has been awesome having you on board. So
Yes, thank
we
you.
will cheers to that, man. Happy
Cheers.
1
Yeah,
year,
and
buddy.
happy birthday, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, and that, and that's
No,
secondary.
I will say my birthday is the least important thing.
It is. A few other
And-
things happened on that.
And
day.
I've said at the end of last year that there was a point where I thought this show was going to end prematurely, and if it wasn't for you two guys, we wouldn't have lasted as long as we have. So thank you to both of you guys for joining me in
Anytime,
this
man.
stupid
Good to be here, man.
podcast that we do,
It is
which
stupid.
no one listens to.
No.
So
Which
please
makes
like
it
and
even better.
subscribe
Why
because
are
we
you
need
looking
those
that up,
subscribe-
man?
almost sneezed earlier. And my
Anyways,
nose has been all weird.
We need to get to what we're talking
Yes.
about
Yeah,
today
what
because
are
we
we
have a lot
talking
to talk about. Last time we did a top 10 like this, it was a very long show, and
Yeah,
I'm hoping
man.
this show will not take as long. So I had an idea for a trilogy of episodes, which was to do a top 10 for every decade that we lived through in its entirety. So we were all born in the 80s. Uble and I, 84 babies. My friend over here, 89. He just made it. So we thought, well, we're going to do a top 10 for the 90s, a top 10 for the 2000s, the zeros or the aughts, whatever you want to call it, and then a top 10 for the 2010s. So the zero, the aughts, and the 10s will come later. Today, we're going to talk about the 90s. top 10 of the 90s.
man.
We were all in our youth, just coming out, being conscious of the
Yep.
world. And I can't wait
Bush
to get
was
started.
in the office of
The shit-
presidency.
I would love to talk about like our strategies and everything, but I don't want to waste so much time
Yeah,
as to
man.
how we came up with.
Just
I
go
know
for
it
it.
was hard.
Well,
Should we just
I will ask out of curiosity, because I feel like this has to be brought up. Were there movies that you realized you never got around to seeing, or you have very blurred memories of because you never watched as an adult that ultimately didn't make the list because of those reasons?
No, there's nothing that I
think
thought
the
of.
90s have been around for long enough to where
Yeah, I've
even
caught
movies
up.
that I maybe didn't watch at the time, I've gone back and been like, oh, that's right, this movie came out. I never watched part 2 or fucking whatever, and I went back and watched it. So I think by now I've seen most of what I would have watched. Do I want to watch it again to get a refresher and a reminder? Yeah, I probably fucking need a lot of that.
I will say the only thing with that is foreign films. There's a lot of classic foreign films that came out of the 90s that I have not watched yet. And so my top 10 is going to be all American movies.
Yeah.
And I think all of us
As
will.
are mine. Yeah.
But in my top 100, I do have some foreign films, but there are a lot
Top 100.
Sam, dude.
I do want to say, real quick, I have a spreadsheet that I've been keeping for 2 decades now,
surprising.
almost 2
Damn.
decades. And that's how I came up with this, because all my grades and everything I saved there. So I just pulled up, give me
That's
the
really
90s,
impressive, man.
90s movies, all A pluses, and then I just basically started like, and that was only about like 30 some odd movies. And then I thought like, I wonder if I pulled all the A's and A minuses,
Jesus.
and that was about like 90 or so. And then I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna add like 10 more just to make it a top 100. But anyways,
might
all
as
right,
well.
let's get going. Who wants to
You
go
don't want to
first?
sound crazy.
Who wants to go first?
Well, I do have something to add, which is I wanted to clarify: are these what we consider the top 10 films to come out of the 90s?
This is subjective.
Or
This
are
list is
these
subjective.
the films that for us
For
personally,
you? That's how
Yes,
I
for
took
you.
it. That's how I did it.
Okay,
For
perfect.
you,
I'll go with the
for
heart. I'll save
whatever
the other list.
you
for-
can use whatever criteria you
Yeah.
want.
Yep.
It's
Perfect.
your overall
Perfect.
top
So
10.
I predict there's
I've
going to be a
narrowed it
lot
down.
of yelling from Sam's point of view, or "Gah, that movie."
Well, I'm
sure-
eager
that's
to
what
see
I'm
how
saying.
many are similar.
I'd be surprised that how many. I think we're gonna have like maybe 1 or 2
Yeah.
similar, but I think there's gonna be a lot of differences.
It'll be really interesting.
Which you think
yes.
is good.
Yeah, I
think
think it'll be good.
All right, who wants
cool.
to go first?
Without further ado, I'll
Okay.
start off. So I do have to point out that I have not seen or rewatched Pulp Fiction, Sounds of the Lambs, and Blood and Blood Out. I just wanted to establish that those are not on my list just because I haven't seen them properly.
I'm already pissed.
Okay, go on.
So,
You just like named 2 of those are like super classic 90s movies.
it's like 2 of those are my top 5.
But then In Blood Out is a pretty classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
again,
it's
it's
not
like-
as classic, but
it's-
it's like one. It's
I
up
just
there.
haven't rewatched it. Like I remember like a lot of things, but like I feel like I would have had to rewatch it before,
before-
to properly. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking delay this. I'm still confused because of the fact that I understand it's what we personally feel, but is it what we personally
Yes.
feel are the best 10 movies that came out of the 90s?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
is it because I have
I just feel like
have
these
it-
could have probably been on my
Right.
list. That's why I'm bringing them
I
up.
have it into 2 categories.
Objective
and
and
I'm glad.
subjective.
Yeah, which is where now as an adult, not even objective and subjective.
Combine them both.
It's a list of movies that growing up in the 90s meant a lot to me because I had it on VHS and
Yeah.
I had no other fucking option but to rewatch it
And that's
every
fine.
fucking night. Right, but see that's more of the
Subjective.
subjective.
Yeah, that's how mine is.
Whereas now as an adult and I look at all the movies
I
that came
see.
out in the 90s and I can pinpoint these 10 even though I never fucking watched them when they came out in the 90s because I was a fucking child. I can now look back at them and say these by far are the best movies that came out of the 90s. So I wanted to just clarify which, because I have those 2 lists separately.
Whatever makes you feel good.
I think
I don't
you,
like that.
you you should combine the 2 because that's the way I
Make
do
them
it.
fight.
In the sense, like, if there's a movie that was just like such an important movie for me personally, but I can see how it's not that great of a movie, it still might make my top 10 because it was such an impactful movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's okay. It's overall everything is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Overall, your
Yeah.
personal feelings, also what you think is like actually
Overall,
objectively speaking a good
everything,
movie. Like
all
when
the
you
time.
put all that stuff together, what would be your top 10?
Yeah. Okay.
So just to clarify too, are we gonna do like our top 10s each and then keep going up? That
Yeah.
right?
We'll go
Okay,
10,
cool.
10, 10.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
here's some rules. You get max 2 minutes to talk about your movie.
We should have a giant fucking hourglass.
And I had
talked
one I
about
was
this.
gonna bring in, and I totally forgot to bring it.
man.
Someone, Noel, can you put us on a timer?
Does your technology allow
He's
that?
like, oh fuck, you making me do something?
Oh, nice. Ooh, he's gonna.
Oh, there we go. It's on the screen, baby.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect. Wait. After. So as
Yeah,
soon as
I say number 10, that's when
Okay.
it starts. So
you're gonna take 10 minutes to introduce it and then say
No,
Exactly.
as soon
Yeah.
as you say the movie, it starts.
okay,
Yeah.
at this movie. So I have a top 10 that extends to a top 15. American Wolf in Paris, Men in Black, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Mummy, Point Break.
Wait. We can,
Those 5
we can talk
movies.
about honorable mentions at the end, and we'll
I like doing them at the beginning.
we'll do lightning
So,
honorable mentions.
okay, well, I just mentioned those 5 because I fucking love those 5, but they
I
didn't
didn't
quite
even hear.
make the top
Yeah.
10.
I didn't even hear.
That's what it sounded like.
Okay, I mean, if we're gonna go over it
Steve
again,
Carell
well, because
on
like
The
then
Anchorman.
we have a chance of losing it.
We're
But
12 minutes in. We still haven't gotten to number 10. Come on.
number 10 on my list is Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Oh yes.
This movie is very quintessential of the 90s. Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is one of those rare situations where I feel the sequel is better than the original.
Yeah.
It's action packed. It is so ahead of its time within terms of technology. It fucking time travel, like holy shit. Like this is an epic movie. I'll always remember the ride at Universal. It's very intertwined with childhood. Or like I guess the show, not necessarily the ride, but the 3D show. That movie was fucking amazing in so many ways. And yeah, it really stands out. So that's number 10 for me.
Fantastic.
I'm glad you included that on your list because
Great pick.
I had it on my list, but it's not the top 10. So I can piggyback on yours and say,
Should we go to me or?
Yeah, go to you.
All right.
Oh wait, was there still time
You
left
had
on
a
the clock?
minute and
So then you
20
guys,
seconds
yeah,
we have
I was gonna
use
say,
all of our
you
time.
guys can still we can discuss all together of like if you guys wanted to bounce off anything.
It's
that
a
you just
fucking
said.
fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's one
Yeah.
of the best of the 90s. That's all I'm gonna say.
You had me at time travel. That fucking alone is enough for me to make this a fucking
Oh, that score
come
is
on,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely,
Okay.
man. I'm glad you included it on your list because it hurt me to not include it on my top 10, but there you go. I can piggyback on yours.
Yeah.
All right, my number 10 is a David Fincher classic, Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Starting Brad
Bradley
Pitt
Cooper?
and Edward Norton.
Yes.
And a great supporting role by Meatloaf as Robert Paulson, who only has a name in his death. This movie I didn't actually watch in the 90s. I watched it later in life
Same.
because it had such a cult following. As I got it more and deeper into movies in my teenage years and stuff, and into my adulthood, I heard about this movie. And I was like, I gotta fucking watch it. When I watched it, I loved it right away. It's truly one of I mean, Fincher was already kind of on the map with Seven and The Game, but like this like really brought him up to like that, the iconic director that he is now. And it's just a great stylized movie. It's got one of the greatest twists in movie history.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you. But I mean, it's also like incredibly quotable. There's all these great quotes in the movie.
So many quotes.
Yeah, and I mean, just that his name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
His
name is
just
Robert Paulson.
Just that in
The
itself.
first rule of Fight Club is we do
You
not
don't talk about Fight Club. You
Yep.
are not your khakis. You are not
Yeah.
your what? And all these different. I forget what.
Yep.
I forget, but that's also a great quote. I mean, it's a fantastic movie. When we were texting about making this top 10, it was really hard for me. The hardest thing to do for me was to pick number 10 because they're like for me the top 5 or so were actually kind of easy. But when it got closer to the 10, it was getting harder and harder. And it was between this one and like 20 other movies, honestly. And I just went with Fight Club because the subjective side is it. When it comes to these, all of these are 8+. So it's just like, what have I remembered the most? What have I come back to the most? And Fight Club was one of those movies.
Oh yeah.
So on to you.
Yeah, man.
Uble.
I'm gonna also add a point to that one because Fight Club was also on that list that didn't make it to my top 10. But mainly because I don't know if
1999, by the way. So
yeah, barely made it. I don't know if this affects you in any way, but I don't like that like cult following. Not cult following, but the fan base that exists now for that movie. I feel like it just
There's a fan.
there's a fan base of like these supposed alpha males, and I'm not gonna get too into it, but
Really?
it's enough to ruin Fight Club to where it's just like yeah, it's a great film. I loved it growing up. It made a huge impact, but now the people that are admiring this film are just not the kind of people I want to associate with. Anyway, my top fucking 10. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't sure if we were gonna do a subjective or objective. I'm gonna go with my top 10 objective, which it's fuck, man. God damn, there's so many.
Are you picking them right now? Have you not put up?
I already have my list. The hearts
All
are the
I
ones
see is
that
hearts.
No,
There's
they're
numbers.
thumbs up. There are thumbs up.
I see thumbs up.
Thumbs up is it's in.
There's 10 thumbs up and there's 10 hearts. That's how I had this.
Oh, okay.
set
So
up.
so you're going for the thumbs up?
So I'm gonna go with the thumbs up right now because you guys both chose films that were like fucking. Oh man, these were one of the best. Goodfellas, 1990. This
Fantastic.
fucking movie, man. I can go back and watch it any fucking number of times. It's a long one, and you have to commit. But just that opening fucking
great.
line, ever since I can
Scorsese.
remember, I wanted to be a gangster. And then it just fucking cuts to 1950s, 1960s. These young Ray Liotta's fucking parking cars for the mob. Just that entire movie, I think, is I
I
can
need to
watch
add
it
that
over
to my
and over.
watch list.
You haven't seen the
seen
Goodfellas?
I have not.
How dare you?
I know. Sorry, guys.
See, I'm already doing a service.
I've seen Goodfellas.
You've seen Goodfellas.
Now you know how we feel when someone says you haven't seen The Godfather.
Yeah, man. Oh no, man! You have
Slow
to
it down.
watch. It's such a good fucking film, man. Just
Oh, that's where that's from.
that scene where he's laughing.
Am I funny? How am I funny? You
Yeah.
know the pigeons
Yeah.
from Animaniacs? That's where they got it from.
Do you remember
How
the
am I
pigeons from
funny?
Animaniacs?
How am I funny?
Yeah. You're funny. I'm a clown. I amuse you. Is that what
yeah.
you're fucking saying? I'm just saying
I
you're
mean,
funny.
and this movie's up my alley. It feels like.
Oh, it absolutely is, man.
It's up
Oh, yeah,
anyone's
you-
alley.
Especially the way it starts because he comes from a family with like traditional values, and he starts doing small jobs for the mafia. And when he comes home, the dad finds out, and it's just the way you would expect a Mexican dad to react to
That's how
your
he
son
reacts.
coming. That's exactly how he reacts. There's a cinturón involved.
Oh, okay. That says
So
everything.
that's enough. Made it really close to home. But that's my 10, man. That's my
Hell yeah.
number 10.
All right.
All right, number 9. I do want to quickly point out a 9.5 just because I forgot to add this movie to my list. And I don't know how, but that was
Nope,
Fight Club.
there are no point fives.
I somehow no, but that's it. That's it. Okay. So now on to my official number 9.
Another honorable mention.
No, this is my official number 9, and that is 1998's Godzilla.
What?
1990
I knew this guy was gonna react
with
this way.
Matthew Broderick.
Fuck yes. That movie is so
You know
much
what the
fun.
best part of
and
that movie was?
Fuck, you're gonna say the end.
The ending. Yeah.
Because it had Rage Against the Machine.
That's yeah. I mean,
That
that's what
Rage
added
Against
to
the
it.
Machine.
Da-da-da, no, I mean, this movie was so entertaining. It was huge. Like in the sense of like, I remember being in Mexico when this movie came out,
Oh, that's
and
right.
like there was advertisements, tie-ins, the merchandising to everything in the bag of chips in your cereal. Like there
So,
was.
so you're
Arturo.
a victim
No, I
of
just remember seeing
propaganda.
it everywhere. Like it was just a movie that was an event in my childhood, and I watch it every rainy, or I try to
Because-
watch it every rainy day.
Because Telemex
Arturo.
and Univision
Arturo.
made it so.
This
That's
movie, this
why.
list is subjective, Sam.
I get
Look
it.
at his hat.
I get it.
It's
I get
awesome.
Arturo, that's
That's the voice of Sim. That's Ferris Bueller.
your number 10 was Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
went from
One of the
Terminator-
greatest action movies of all
This is
time.
gonna be
James
wild,
Cameron,
man. This is gonna
Arnold
be wild.
It's gonna be a roller
Schwarzenegger.
coaster.
People like
right.
it's won Oscars and everything. And then your number 9,
Godzilla.
better than that,
Hey.
it was
Dude,
somehow
it's Godzilla, man. Like the
Only-
way he gets created, the way he shows up, and we don't get to see his face. It's very Jaws
And what
like
about
in that
the ending?
regard.
What about the ending?
The ending with Rage Against the Machine.
No. I mean, like where they walk into Madison Square Garden.
I mean, well,
And
yeah,
they see
all
that
the
there's a bunch of eggs.
yes, that was
And
epic.
And then it ends there, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Is there going to be a part 2 where there's a bunch of baby Godzillas roaming around?
Oh, in
New
the final
York?
one, in the post-credit scene?
Yeah, it's still kind of shaking, right?
It breaks through,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the animated series picks up right after it.
Oh, there's an animated
On
series
Fox
of this.
Kids.
I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, and he had the
Godzilla
atomic,
voiced by John Goodman.
Had the atomic breath, just
Godzilla.
like the
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking
What?
Godzilla,
Can
man.
you pull up the Metacritic on
And
that?
who gives
Zero.
a shit? This
And
is a
time
subjective
is up.
list that doesn't
And time is
qualify
up.
movie quality, Sam.
And time is up.
It's true.
Because
Okay.
clearly
Go
you
for
just
it, Sam.
you didn't get it. It went over your head.
I struck-
you don't have
I
the
struck-
tools
I
needed
struck a-
to appreciate this movie. And
No,
my
man.
good friend Patrick Tatopoulos did the creature design for this movie.
19%.
Who gives a fuck? This movie was awesome. Who gives a shit, Sam?
That's good. I'm
We
sorry.
never equated any of that shit to
Throw
this.
it.
And the fact that you decide to bring that shit up to put down my movie choice.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you,
I'm
dude.
sorry.
Fuck
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm sorry.
We started off saying it's subjective,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, because it's like you're using that to try to put me down, dude.
I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Clearly,
Calm down, Arturo.
clearly,
Calm
I
down.
love Godzilla.
Arturo, breathe.
Back to you, Sam.
It's a good choice, man. Hey,
I
it's
keep
on your
looking
list.
this way because I'm so used to the camera being right here.
Oh,
but it's
shit,
actually
you're
over
right.
here. This
It's
time,
over
yeah.
here. Well, it's also not fucking helping that we have the list of all
Yeah,
the movies
so
back there,
you guys
so.
may have not realized since it's on a green screen, but the studio has completely changed.
Yeah, you will be able to see it eventually. Right now, it's still gonna look like the old setup, but yeah, man, I've done a lot of fucking work in here.
Let's move on. We don't want to get
No.
on a tangent because we have a lot to go
That's
through.
right. You're up next.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's all right.
All right. Godzilla. Okay. My number 9 is 1995's Braveheart. Yes, Braveheart. Yes,
that's a
yes.
piece of shit.
Directed by Mel Gibson. I know some people out there in today's world are probably like cringing, like, oh, it's a Mel Gibson movie. You can't like a Mel Gibson movie anymore. I don't give a shit. Just like Arturo doesn't give a shit what I think about Godzilla. I don't give a shit what Mel Gibson did after he made this movie. The movie was still great, and he still directed it. It's a fucking awesome movie, awesome epic movie. I've watched this movie so many times. It's like not only a great drama.
Accurate though.
It doesn't matter to me.
yeah.
There's so many.
I guess you're right.
There's so many movies that I've see. If we talk about like pet peeves and whatnot, like that's kind of like a pet peeve that I didn't talk about in the pet peeve episode. When people
we
like
need to do a follow-up for
criticize
that.
a
We
movie
do.
for
We
being
do.
historically inaccurate, it's like every
Every
movie
movie,
is
yeah.
historically
I
inaccurate.
think I mentioned that
Is
in, one of the episodes.
And then those same people who will criticize one movie will then bring up another movie that's based on a historical figure, and like, dude, they also fake this part, and this part was exaggerated. And this,
and they're willing to okay that.
unless it's a documentary, if you have a dramatized movie, there's going to be historical inaccuracies. So it doesn't really bother me, and I understand that it's very historically inaccurate. I don't think that was the point of this movie. I think the point of this movie was to just show a sort of romantic epic and that just was based on this historical figure, and it really wasn't trying to tell you the true story. It was just trying to tell you a story. But anyways, it's very funny. I love the acting.
It's funny?
I love the fucking it's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's like,
Have you seen
it's
Braveheart?
my island.
I've seen it. The only thing I remember that stands out is the part where he's gutted at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Spoilers!
they don't even show that
Sorry,
part.
they don't show it, but my young impressionable mind with anxiety couldn't help but fucking picture what that would feel like.
I mean,
where
you
it's
don't-
clearly what's happening to him. Like, there's no question
Yeah,
of
he's-
what's
he's-
happening.
Yeah.
He's being
There's a
gutted.
hook,
His intestines
and
are
they
being.
start it right there, and then they just pull it up while he's alive, and like
It's a
he's
pretty
yelling
fucked up-
something fucking okay. He's yelling something super patriotic, and he's like, "Oh,
He's just
you'll
saying,
remember
he's just yelling freedom.
freedom." Okay, sure.
No,
Freedom,
does
and you
the
just go,
timer have a timer on it?
Yeah.
Very nice.
You're done.
Okay, so
Damn it!
my turn.
I have a quick question because I noticed something. Sorry, I noticed I peeked on your list. Animated movies were a part of this.
Yeah, you can put any movie, of course.
I didn't even.
bro.
That didn't even.
I have one or
come to
two.
play.
All right,
Okay.
go.
So,
Number 9.
I went with an objective for my number 10. So for my number 9, I'm going to go with one that I personally just remember because we had it on VHS. And for many of you viewers that maybe don't remember what it was like back then, or you're too young to remember, but you were only exposed to whatever you had on a VHS cassette tape. And how often you watched those movies was up to you and how bored you were. You didn't have this endless supply of movies or TV shows to watch. You had
No
six or
streaming
seven.
services.
You had 6 or 7 VHS cassette tapes that you would just rewatch over and over. And one of those for me and my 2 brothers was Three Ninjas. Three Ninjas.
Oh, and you were 3 of you.
It was 3. It was me and my 2 brothers. So we all had, my older brother being the oldest. He was Colt.
Wait,
No,
this is
Rocky.
your number 9?
It was Rocky. Yeah, this is my number.
The
9.
3 Ninjas?
Three Ninjas.
Damn, I
Again,
remember this.
I'm fucking telling you, I am doing a hybrid. What I decided I'm gonna do
Sam,
is
he's allowed to have his own
I'm
opinions.
gonna do right.
That's
no,
fine. That's fine.
listen.
I also have my. I'm allowed to
Your cheats,
respond
right.
to his opinion.
Yeah, I didn't
This
say you
is
weren't.
what I'm trying to say is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one which I feel now as an adult is objectively a great film because of the dialogue or the script or the cinematography, and then I'm gonna do one where as a child in the 90s I fucking it helped raised
I dig
me. I went to it. It was my comfort movie, and then I'm gonna go back to an objective. So take it or leave it. That's the way I'm doing this. My first one being I already fucking forgot Goodfellas. My second one being Three Ninjas. It just fucking did it for me, man. It spiked my interest in karate. There they are. Yeah, fucking Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum. Come on, you guys weren't. I'm getting a lot of silence, and I feel like
I remember
you
this.
guys are in the wrong.
It was a good movie.
It was not a good movie, but yes, I
Oh,
remember it.
come on,
I
man.
never watched
Snyder,
it.
the Black, the 3 fucking doofus. You never watched
No.
Three Ninjas. Surely you watched Three Ninjas Surfs Up, the follow-up to this movie. Where they're surfers.
Yeah, and they sing ba ba ba
Yeah.
ba ba
So you did see it.
ba
So
ba
you did
ba.
see it
Of
then.
course I did. Yes, it was a. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, man, I don't care. That's my fucking number
Oh
9.
yeah, dude. Hell yeah. More power
Back to you guys.
man.
Yeah.
More power to
Back
you.
to you
Yeah.
guys.
All right, go,
All right.
Arturo.
My number 8 is
I'm already
a
loving
movie
this.
that I play every Christmas season, and that is Batman
Die Hard.
Returns.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Also on my list.
One of my personal favorite Batmans. Again, I watch it yearly. Keaton is one of the best that's ever donned the cowl. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, I think, will forever be the most iconic rendition of her ever.
Yeah.
And then you have Penguin, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, great.
Like,
That
yeah,
fucking-
like
that
this,
whole movie, man.
This movie was so
That whole
gothic,
movie.
so campy, so Burton-y, but
Yeah.
like in the best way.
Yeah.
And then we got fucking Christopher Walken. Yeah, this
It's a great cast.
I
Yeah.
love this movie.
This was one of my 90 honorable mentions. Yes.
Yeah, again, also on my list. Also on my list, but didn't make it to. Actually, it is on one of my top 10s. Look at that.
All
But
right.
yeah, man, I'm with you on
Yeah,
that
fuck
one.
yeah.
I'll go on to my number 8, which is. This is probably one that maybe you guys can roll your eyes on. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned this.
1994, Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. This is one where I understand it probably, objectively speaking, isn't one of the greatest movies of the 90s. I'm sure there's other movies that probably, in terms of the filmmaking, in terms of the quality of the topic that's
beyond
being
that.
talked
Yeah,
about
like-
might be
that.
better.
What does it mean
like
to
like
you?
Godzilla? Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
No, not like Godzilla.
Put up the rating. Put up the rating on this movie, Noel. I want to
up.
see what the rating
It's
is.
definitely better. It's definitely better than Godzilla.
Oh, if it's not 100%, then it's shit. It is a piece of shit.
that
no,
sounds
no,
like
no,
Sam.
no, no,
Clearly made it of his-
7.3 on
Seven-
IMDb. What
a
what
7.3.
was Godzilla on?
I spit on it.
was like
Doesn't matter what
5.6.
Godzilla was. We're not talking about Godzilla. We're talking about Dumb and Dumber.
Anyways, Dumb and Dumber. Watched this movie when it came out in theaters. I was 10 years
yeah.
old. Actually, I was
Yeah,
not
man.
10. I was 9 years old.
9.
I hadn't turned 10 yet because it came out in the summer. And I fucking found this movie hilarious
Yeah.
as a kid. I found this movie hilarious as a teenager. I found this movie hilarious as an adult.
Yep.
To this day, I still find this movie hilarious. I can probably quote this movie from beginning to end.
Would you say you like it a lot?
I like it a lot. and it's one of Jim Carrey's best comedic performances. And
really is.
it really Jeff Daniels' best comedic
Yes.
performance. I mean,
only one probably.
it put Jeff Daniels on the map because I think a lot of people didn't even know who he was at this
Nah,
point.
man.
And it's just
Yep.
it's still people still love this movie. I'm not the only one. I mean, they love this movie, and it's a good movie. I if I ever want to have a laugh Just put on Dumb and Dumber. I still fucking laugh. I
Do
can't
you ever
believe
see Samsonite luggage and just chuckle?
Yeah.
You just giggle like.
How often do you
Swanson.
quote
I
to
was
yourself?
way
Yeah,
off.
I was way up. You started with an S though.
There's something
many, man.
clever and sort of stupid at the
Every-
same time as
every
to how
fucking line.
this movie works.
Every
It-
fucking.
I don't know how
I
it
can't
works.
tell you how many times
but it
I've
works.
quoted "Pick 'em up."
Yeah, big up, sing, rock, sing, sing, bird, sing, oh, so great.
Mockingbird, don't
Don't
everybody have you heard?
heard?
She's gonna buy
Gonna
me a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing,
guys.
So,
Yes.
so we give you a minute alone.
oh, if you could, 2 minutes is all I need.
Good. So good.
Yeah,
Speaking
man.
of 2 minutes.
No, okay, sorry about that.
Okay,
You're right.
so we're done. We're done.
That's
Moving
all
on.
right, we're
Moving
done,
on. Go.
So I went with objective stuff. Okay, so objective
Back
now.
to objective, brother.
I think for objective, I'm gonna have to go with a 1993 flick that I like to call Tombstone. Tombstone. Sorry, I read that
Wow.
correctly.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. No, man, fucking Tombstone, man. Look, I'm not. I gotta be honest
That's a
with
very
you. Something about
man's
Wild
movie.
West movies, man. Those fucking spaghetti westerns and fucking
This is
your.
not a
Like
spaghetti
the Wild
western.
Wild
I know
West?
this isn't a spaghetti. Yeah, close.
Don't
Will
tell me that's
Smith.
on your list. Wait, is that a zeros?
not.
It was a tie between this one and Wild Wild West, and I went with this one. But yeah, man, this film, I will be honest, I was late to the party. I made it most of my life without really having it on my radar, and someone in the last few years was like, "You gotta fucking watch it," because I started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on
fuck yeah.
the console, and that fucking oof, that's a great game. And they were like, "Watch this movie if you like that type of world, watch this movie." And I watched it, and yeah, man, it just immediately went up there. It bumped off fucking Honey, I Blew Up the Kids on my top 10 just to be up there. So absolutely, if you haven't watched it before and you're into fucking westerns, or if you're just into fucking good storytelling and good acting, I fully, absolutely
Great
believe
cast.
Val Kilmer at his best.
I'll give you that.
It sounds like a
It's one of his
scratched
best.
record, but yeah, absolutely.
I'm
it's
here,
one of his
Huckleberry.
fucking. I'm here, Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Just fucking seeing him fucking on death's fucking door and still just oof.
He's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
Tombstone for
The
me.
whole cast
Nice.
is magnificent. You know, this is also in one of my 90 honorable mentions. The only thing about this movie is that one scene where Kurt Russell, he was playing Wyatt Earp. He like goes no,
Oh, yeah,
and he like runs into gunfire, but
Yeah.
none of them
None of it
fucking
hits him,
shoot.
yep.
He's like no,
Yeah.
He just
That
starts
just felt out of
shooting like
place.
that.
Yeah.
And like that scene almost. It kind of ruined the movie for me.
Aw.
Everything around it is magnificent.
Yeah.
But that scene, like, God,
Yeah.
I wish you would have
Yeah.
just
Leave
cut
it
that
the same.
scene.
Skip it.
Or do something
Yeah.
else. Or else it would have been like an A+, man. But it was, like I
But
said,
it's
it's
good.
one of my 90 honorable mentions. I
Okay,
still
yeah,
like
hell
it.
yeah.
You can
But it's
can
just
still
that
visit
one
the
scene that
actual
ruins
site.
it.
It's historically
I've been
somewhat
there.
accurate. You have?
I've been to
Ah, I'm
Tombstone.
fucking jealous, man.
And I've been
can
to the
visit
OK.
Could you
the
say
actual-
that you were there?
Okay, corral.
not
Yeah.
like you. Not like you.
Okay,
right,
so
all
yeah,
right,
that was
good.
mine. That was my
So my
eight, seven.
Number seven.
That was 8.
That
your
was 8.
Yeah. So
now
you're
my
seven.
my number 7 is a movie I watch every St. Patrick's Day, and that is Boondock Saints.
I fucking saw it on that list, and I was like, "This is
that is a cult classic. That is an absolute favorite of mine.
William Dafoe. Fantastic.
William Dafoe, Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus,
Yes.
Sean
Norman
Patrick
Reedus.
Flannery. Like, and it's just the way this movie is told, like the fact that it's not a conventional storytelling, and the way it jumps back and forth, and it gives you like this larger than life aspect of its moments, the soundtrack, the vigilante mayhem, the Catholicism. I was raised Catholic, and just seeing these guys like destroy, murder, assassinate, like, we still got to be up for church the next morning. Like, there's just something about that in the opening in the church. Like, it just ties so much into that. I don't know. It's just I fucking love this movie so much.
It is a great movie. I agree with you on that one. And then that's also on my 90 honorable mentions. It didn't make my top 10, but it's
close.
in there.
No, happy to hear it, man. Yeah.
It's a great movie. Definitely agree with you. I think William Dafoe was fantastic in that
God.
movie. Just fantastic.
I think I've mentioned to you guys that while I have seen the movie, I don't remember a lot.
You don't remember?
I
It was a fucking bomb. In a few seconds, this place was Armageddon.
Toast.
There was a firefight.
Yep. Nope. That is all new to me. If you would have just done that on your own, I would have been like, you're a fucking... You should write that. You should write that shit and direct it. Because it was good. But yeah, no, I don't remember it. But yeah, I can fucking see that. Boondock Saints. I saw that on the list when I was going through the 90s movies. I was like, oh, this is absolutely
Watch it again, I guess, since you've seen it, but you don't remember it. It's very good.
I shall.
Nome Patri et Filii Spiritus Sancti. So good.
It's good. Good one. My number 7 is Jurassic Park.
Oh, yes. Also on my list.
1993. I thought this was going to be one that we would probably all share because we've talked about it so much. But saw it in theaters when it came out back in 1993. I've talked about this so much in the past already in previous episodes, but it the visual effects in that time was, you know how people sometimes exaggerate in today's world, and they're like, one of your pet peeves is like people's like, oh, it was so amazing.
The reactions.
I literally had that reaction when I watched this movie when I was a kid watching, and I was like, I was like, oh shit! I don't know if I said shit, but I know I was like, oh my god! Like it was truly amazing to my 1993 person back then. I watched this movie like 7 or 8 times in theaters. Back in the day when a movie would run for like forever in theaters if it was a blockbuster like this.
Yeah.
And I just every time I'd go to the theater, I would fucking let's go watch Jurassic Park, baby. And fucking watch it again. Another movie that I could probably quote from beginning to end. I might not be as good as I used to be with it, but I've seen this so many times. It's such a great movie. It's Steven Spielberg, 1993. It's one of those milestones in the history of cinema.
It really is.
That is just it's great. It hasn't been repeated. It just in terms of this kind of movie. But yeah, great.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely agree, man. I'm gonna add that one as it was on my list, and I'm glad you mentioned it because now I don't have to mention it. I don't have
so you're taking it.
I love how your list keeps shifting as you're going.
Look, I'm not gonna repeat a movie if someone else already talked about it. I just have to say I agree. It was on my list. Now I can add that space.
Now you're gonna take it
else.
out.
Okay, all right.
So we're on 7, right?
Yeah.
So I
correct.
went with subject.
It was good, fellas. Three Ninjas was somehow
We're
better
keeping
than
track
that
of
one.
yours.
Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Again, it
How is
wasn't.
Three Ninjas
Okay. What's next?
higher
What's
than
next?
It wasn't better. I'm just going through
Number
movies.
7.
Little Giants.
Oh my god.
You remember Little Giants?
Oh,
You haven't watched?
I do remember Little
It's
Giants.
a football movie with Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill, and
Are you sure it was
Rick
a
Moranis.
prequel
Rick
to
Moranis.
Married with Children?
no, Rick Moranis is
Yeah,
he plays.
See, again, this side of my list comes down to the fucking movies that I had on VHS. I had no other option but to watch these movies over and over again. And by the way, I will say that list consists of a lot of sports movies. Come on, you're not gonna fucking tell me that growing up in the 90s, movies like The Sandlot, The Mighty Ducks,
The Sandlot is great.
The Little Giants,
Green Mash,
The Big Green,
Big
all
Green,
these
that's what it
different
was.
sport movies that consisted of basically the same
The same
structure,
cast?
which
Oh.
was
That's it,
the same structure, which was someone
The
who would
underdog.
never be coaching little kids is forced to coach little kids. And what do you know? Those kids grew on him. And he had the option to leave back to his regular life, but those kids really did an impact on him, so he chose to stay and follow through with his coaching job. That's every fucking movie.
Yeah,
that's the fucking Mighty Ducks. That's the Big Green. That's the Little Giants. Maybe not the Little Giants, but there's a huge soft spot in my heart, man.
I got to say something about this because I recently rewatched this movie not too long ago because
Yeah.
I remember it fondly.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we were like, I was like, what, something to watch with my kids. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Little Giants.
It is a movie.
And I put it on, and I was like, man, this movie's bad. Holy crap.
What was
It's
wrong
so
with
bad.
it? There's the
It does not
annexation
hold
of
up.
Puerto Rico.
Sandlot holds up. I've rewatched Sandlot recently again with my
fucking
kids,
great.
Yeah,
and
course.
I still
It's the
think that
fucking
movie is
Sandlot.
fucking
It's
awesome.
on my list.
And I think that movie is fucking
Yeah.
also in my 90 honorable mentions.
There you go. Yeah, same.
But Little Giants is not good, man.
Again,
why did you pick
again,
this one over
This
the
list
Sandlot?
is subjective.
No, the Sandlot
This
is
list
also on this
subjective,
list.
Sam.
I know that doesn't mean that
Sam,
we can't
right? You can
that we
criticize
can't
it.
have
I welcome
criticisms
this. I welcome this
because you say it is. It allows for
Right.
criticism.
Yeah.
That allows it. I'm open for it. I'm eager to hear what you have to say. And what I'm trying to tell you is I acknowledge the fact that movie, shut the fuck up alarm, god damn you, snooze. I acknowledge that this movie is not the best of those sports category movies. That's why technically it was number 9 on my list because I'm mixing the two. So look at it that way. But also B, I have more of a sentimental attachment to this movie because I had it on VHS during a time where maybe it wasn't that easy growing up, and my comfort movie was this. So
Well,
if
there
I
you
was
go.
to, if you were to turn it on and it would start playing, I'd be like, I remember this movie really kind of made it easy for me growing up in a fucking single parent household. I'm enjoying this movie. That's where I'm coming from. I absolutely
Take
acknowledge.
that, Sam.
I absolutely acknowledge that the acting could be better, the storyline could be better. John Madden's performance in this movie was definitely not one of his best.
So that
but
is John Madden.
Yeah,
It is.
John
No,
Madden.
there's
Nothing. No performance in this movie was one of their best.
Ed Moranis. All right, Ed Moranis had fucking. This is
Ed
one of his
Moranis
best-
or Rick Moranis?
No, Ed Moranis, Ed O'Neill's brother, who married Rick Moranis' sister.
All right, let's
Shut
go.
the fuck up.
Let's move on because
Number
let's move
6.
on. We're wasting time.
On my list. So you'll realize there's a thread with I rewatch a lot of these during a specific holiday time.
Right.
And this one I play every Halloween season, and that is Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
really,
Johnny
okay.
Yeah,
Depp.
Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci,
Yeah.
Christopher Walken again.
Oh shit, that's right. He was on
Yeah,
that.
this movie, man, just the aesthetic. It's just.
I did watch this.
It's
one
so
in the movie
iconic.
theaters. Yep.
Like it just pulls you in. Like the characters. It's such a specific time frame of them.
What year did this come out? 95? No, 99.
No, 99.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck! It barely made it too.
And like, I mean, Christina Ricci was so like a staple
Hot.
of that.
That too.
It was such a staple of that time, and just to have her and Johnny on a film together, this is a dark film too.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a film for
Great.
kids in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's. I remember rewatching it in a film class in high school, and like the teacher's like, and I'm like just thinking that we saw this as a kid, and then the teacher in high school was a little like, maybe this is too much.
Lots of severed
Like-
heads.
Yeah.
She should have known this.
And blood and
Different
sex
time.
and yeah. But yeah, I fucking love this movie, and it's such an epitome of Halloween for me. in
Also
the
had
best
one of
way.
those- not
the Headless
twist-
Horseman's legend. Fuck.
Yeah, that's.
Ichabod
Oh, the
Crane.
twist and like the whole like they're
That's where I
figuring it
wanted
out.
to-
The whodunit
that
aspect.
figuring it out part where
yes.
all I remember about this movie is that notepad where Johnny Depp's character was just writing random notes, and then someone else came along and was like, "They're not a big fan of where you're going with your thoughts." And he looked down at the tablet, and the random notes he was writing down kind of almost formed a sentence that implied he was suspecting someone. That's what I remember about this movie, and I remember I really liked that touch where I was like, "Oh, that's fucking
Yeah,
nice."
there was a lot of great misdirection in this. And
Yes.
things. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could love this movie.
Samuel.
Yeah.
Bless you.
That was a good. I like Sleepy Hollow. I don't think it made my honorable mentions. I need to look at.
That's not
Control F.
Afterwards. My number 6 is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, released in 1994. By the way, 1994 was a great year for movies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great movies that came out that year. Shawshank Redemption being one that did not make my top 10, so that's why I want to mention that one.
Your top 10?
No, but it's in my 90 honorable mentions. It was so close. That was one of the 20 films that were fighting for that number 10 spot.
Damn.
But anyways, Pulp Fiction. I watched this movie about 2 years after it came out, which I was still too young to watch. But I fucking loved it from the first time I watched it. I don't know how my 12-year-old body understood, 12-year-old mind understood what was going on, but I somehow understood it. and I liked it. And then as I got older, I watched it again over and over again, and I was like, God, this movie is fucking genius. It is Tarantino's one of his classics. I mean, just fantastic cast: Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, John Travolta. I mean, it's got these great fucking scenes that are still
really
iconic
does.
to this day. It's another one of those milestone movies of cinema, and I just fucking love it. I just think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I know a lot of people might even say that it's like one of the best movies of the night. It's probably the best movies in the 90s. I still think there's some others ahead of it. But yeah, fucking love this movie. This is what made me fall in love with Tarantino, and I've watched every single one of his movies ever since.
Nice.
It's an event movie for me every time a Tarantino movie comes out. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
It's
movie I
parodied.
did see as a kid, but like
you
it's
did?
very blurred. Like I remember specific things.
Yeah, same.
Like, spoiler alert, like the OD scene.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
my
And that
God,
scene-
and it's like little things like that. But I've never rewatched it as an
that's
adult,
what's so
and I
genius
want
about this
to.
movie. Go
Diner.
back and watch
I will.
that scene, and it's all
the whole
tension,
movie.
and it's almost all silence of this, like, what's
Yep.
about to happen. There's like a whole
Yep.
moment of like, I don't know how many seconds where like it just cuts from like Travolta holding the needle to the person and
Yes.
watching, to the girl also
Yes.
watching. And it's just like, yo, what
Time.
the fuck is gonna happen? And then BAM!
Yeah. Yep.
And
Needle.
then on to the next movie.
Yeah. So for my number, what
6.
the fuck? 6? What was the last one that I went with?
You could be writing this as you go too.
No, I'm just choosing from each list. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say, because it probably should have been like lower on the list, but I just saw it right now. Men in Black.
Oh, okay, hell yeah.
Men
That
in
made
Black
my
came out in
honorable.
1997, and strictly more because of the fact that at that age and starting to express interest in aliens and conspiracies and what can possibly be out there and what can possibly be among us without, like, all of those
Yeah.
ideas were already heavy on my mind, and then this fucking movie came out in 97 just to kind of confirm
Yeah.
and add to what I was thinking. It gave me that peace of mind of like, okay, I'm not fucking crazy. This shit is not just on
spoke
my
to you.
mind. It's people out there. This might actually be a thing.
Especially with a movie like this.
Yeah, man.
You know, it was
Like
meant
the-
to be a comedy, right?
The
Like, we're making fun
erasing of people's memories.
Yes.
Like when I saw that in film, it hit. I'm
Yes,
like, wait,
it
is that why when I
did.
entered the living
Yes.
room and I can't remember why I came in
Yep.
here for?
Yep.
Did I see something I wasn't supposed to?
Yeah.
That
That was
fucked with me
again,
as a
man.
kid,
The
man.
shit. And then they had the Men in Black had a cartoon on the
Yeah, I did. I
W5.
remember. Yeah.
WB5.
WB, yeah.
Yeah.
The cartoon was pretty good. I remember the cartoon.
It was just as good as the movie. Part 2
I
of the
missed
movies
that era
wasn't that
where
great.
there was like all these follow-up cartoons to movies. Like it
There
was
was,
just
yeah.
it was a fun thing.
Yeah, no, man, but that's my again. It should have been lower on the list. I just saw it
No,
now,
it's,
but
it's a fun one.
we're
man. Fuck
talking
yeah.
about 90s movies that hit close to home that were just a comfort for me. Men in Black, man,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Go for it, Arturo.
And I just wanted to point out Will Smith too. Like this is his era.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
so-
Yeah.
Fresh
You're
Prince
just a
was.
bad boys.
Yeah, oh,
He was
Bad
a-
Boys.
He was a bad boy.
Well, Will Smith was actually supposed to be in
The
this
Matrix.
in my number 5, which is
you
man ruined the surprise. though.
The
Ruined
Matrix?
that
The
one.
Matrix.
Yeah.
The Matrix is
Yeah.
He
my
was
number
supposed to
5.
be in that
He
movie.
was supposed to be
Will
Neo.
Smith.
He
He
passed
turned,
on it.
he turned down the audition.
Fool.
Do you know which movie he went to audition? He chose
Wild Wild
instead?
West instead.
Yes.
What
Yep.
a fool.
He chose to
Yep.
do Wild Wild
you know-
West.
And he's
know what?
talked about it. He's
Yeah, he's
glad that
acknowledged it.
because like he sees this and like Keanu Reeves in the Matrix. Like
meant to be.
This
It
was
was-
meant to be. I fucking
the architect
love this
chose
movie.
it. Yep.
Like it was. I remember one of those movies that I mean, kind of like Men in Black I just mentioned, but like this one really made me think of more outside the box, especially
Yeah.
at such a young age.
Yep.
And I mean the effects and the world and questioning
Yeah,
everything.
The
Rob
goth-
Zombie,
the goth.
like yes, the whole
dark.
look, like everything. Him being the one. There's so much about this. People are still talking about this movie to this day. It spawned a whole series of sequels
Yeah.
because we couldn't get enough. And Dude, I mean, just the idea that we're all living in a simulation, man. Like, that haunts some of us.
Yep.
Named Move Blesters.
Yes.
Definitely.
Very much so.
Like, and the bullet
the fact
time
that you would
and
say
the way
that right
it was.
now makes me think that the simulation is programming it this way.
Did anyone
so
ask you to
that
take
it
a
makes
blue
it
or red
less
pill
and
before you got
less.
here?
No, but I don't remember
I mean,
how I got
like
here.
that. Like, there's so much that has, like, become bigger than life, I feel, with this film. And just spawned so much after it,
It's definitely another milestone movie of the of the cinema.
How often was that slow-mo fucking bullet
replicated
dodging
everywhere.
Every fucking movie,
Like, literally
from
after.
1999 to 2004 had some kind
Resident
of
Evil, Spider-Man, X-Men, like
fucking- there was
Bullet
everything.
Time, it was called.
Bullet Time. Yeah, that whole
bullet
effect.
time. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Matrix. It was definitely on my list, and
It was
still
in
is,
my
so
90 honorable mentions. A great movie. I agree
Yeah.
with you on that one.
Fuck yeah.
You know what's funny about the 90s is that 1994 and 1999 was like two great years of
Yeah,
movies. There's so many
man.
great movies that came out that year. But anyways, going on to my number 5, it is the holiday classic Schindler's List. The completely
another action
feel-good movie.
Another action.
Schindler's List, released
Isn't it
1993. I know this is like one of those movies that it's a downer, but it is a beautiful movie. When you're talking about like the beauty of cinema and like how a movie can just destroy you. Like when you're coming out of a movie, you just feel like completely destroyed.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies. As you know, I like to feel that way. I know some people don't. They go to the movies because they want to escape and whatever. But to me, like this guy over here.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Making it sound like there is.
I
though.
like entertainment and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
But I also like to feel sad. I don't know, the catharsis that I feel from watching tragedy, it somehow makes me feel good, even though it's coming from sadness. I don't know how to explain it.
To quote Nicole Kidman, even heartbreak feels
Feels good.
good.
Yes. That's why you shouldn't take fucking selfies during Nicole Kidman's fucking speech,
Her message
because
carries
she's
a lot of
fucking
weight.
spitting truth. And somebody's goddamn distracting me while I'm trying to listen to
Bring it
Nicole Kidman spit her truth. But
After
anyway,
hearing it for the 200th
Schindler's
time.
List, Steven Spielberg, my second Steven Spielberg movie of my top 10, by the way. God, I love this movie. It is a beautiful movie. Just everything. One Best Picture. I have a couple of Best Picture movies, and this is like I think my second one. Braveheart was my first one, but this deserved the Best Picture award. It's like fucking awesome. God, I just don't know how much more to say, but it truly is a classic that I think will be remembered forever. It just destroys you. I mean, great movie. The scene with the girl in the red. Oh my God, that scene is imprinted in my brain. By the way, where the little girl is walking and she's the only one in color. Have you guys seen Schindler's List?
I have not.
Jesus fucking Christ, Arturo!
It's all the Holocaust, right?
This is why you have Godzilla in your top 10. This would definitely replace Godzilla.
Will I watch it every rainy season
Whenever I talk about
while blasting Rage Against the Machine?
my friend Nick, he watches this every Thanksgiving apparently.
I know Liam Neeson's in it.
Dude.
Liam
It's
Neeson.
Liam Neeson's. Yeah, it's his peak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
plain and
He
simple.
got-
I don't
There's
know.
no-
He did pretty good at
Ben
Menace.
Kingsley's in
Yes.
it. Ray Fiennes is in it. This is where
There's
Ray
your
Fiennes
alarm.
was nominated.
Voldemort.
He plays one of the
Voldemort.
fucking most
I-
despicable villains of all time. It's
Voldemort and Ra's al Ghul in the same movie. What more do you
Just, I'm
want?
telling you, it's a great movie. All right, go on.
So for
5.
my number, thank you. Arturo knows me so well, man.
I do, man. I love you.
I love you too, brother. And number 5, I'm gonna go with.
We're only halfway through.
Ah, god damn it! And how many minutes are we in?
Well, no, we're a little past
55?
halfway.
Okay, I'm gonna go with fuck it.
In our defense,
Goodwill Hunting.
oh, that's a
Okay.
good one.
Goodwill Hunting, man.
That's a good one.
just. Here's the issue: is that,
That was
there are
another
so
one
many
so hard.
fucking. While I was going through this list, there was just no possible way I would be able to narrow it down to 10. Even if I was okay with the idea of sacrificing films that meant a lot to me in my youth and now, I still wouldn't be able to come up with the top 10. Even while sacrificing movies, I would have to be a top 20. And Good Will Hunting just fucking did it for me, man. I wasn't familiar with it. I wasn't exposed to too many movies of this caliber prior to watching it. I believe my neighbor had it on VHS. And he used to have a lot of movies on VHS. And back in the day, again, you didn't have fucking streaming, so you did what you could. And I remember going over to him and being like, what other movie can you recommend? You know? And he would be like, I think I what's another one anyway, this one was one of those. And he said, watch this one. And I was like, sure, it looks kind of boring just based on the cover, but I'll fucking watch it. And god damn it changed my life, man. I've gone back to watch it.
Fantastic movie.
Well deserved for the Oscar. Fucking acting, story.
They won the screenplay.
Yeah.
Best original screenplay.
Yeah, man.
And also Robin Williams.
Robin Williams
won.
in this fucking movie. Just how refreshing it is to see him not be Robin Williams.
Okay.
And be like the actor, like the person that is just. If you haven't fucking already seen it,
it's
yourself a
fantastic.
favor.
I'll put it on my list.
Go watch it. It's Ben
You
Affleck.
haven't seen Good Will Hunting?
You have
another one that would probably replace Godzilla.
no, man. This is Ben Affleck and his brother is on this as well.
Casey?
Casey Affleck are in
Yeah,
this.
it's fucking great.
Such a fucking
It's
good-
very
There's
funny
the dialogue.
too.
There's the scene where Robin Williams is talking to Matt Damon about his wife who farts in her sleep.
Yeah, hilarious. It's
man.
very funny.
That
it's
scene.
wonderful
Noel,
writing.
have you seen this movie, Noel?
No.
Jesus fucking Christ! This is just.
You guys have to watch it.
I-
That scene,
I,
that scene at the
I
park
haven't
bench.
seen Schindler's List. I haven't seen.
Have you
Good
seen
Will-
Shawshank Redemption?
Yes.
Shawshank
Okay.
Redemption is great.
There was a
too.
lot of hesitation there.
I saw it as a kid, so I don't remember the movie.
Good Will Hunting was also one of those movies that was in the fight for my number 10 spot.
Damn, man. You must have a really strong top 10, man. 'cause this
Dude,
shit-
like that number 10 spot was so hard. I'd spend
All right.
like hours on just that one spot. Anyways,
All
go
right,
on.
number 4. Okay, so this is a movie. I just talked about how The Matrix kind of like really set a precedent for like the styling. We talked about the leather and this and that. But this movie actually is the progenitor of it. And it is what caused the modern superhero craze. And that is none other than 1998's Blade.
Blade.
Okay.
Yep.
Fuck
I knew,
yes.
you know, the only movie that I thought you were definitely going to have on was Blade. That was the
Yeah.
one movie, like, Arturo's going to have Blade on there.
I mean, come on. Like, the horror vampire aspect. This is a comic book movie. Like, holy fucking shit. The fact that this came out when it did, how it did, and the fact that it was able to make the audience like take superheroes or comic book movies as a whole seriously.
It did.
Like, they had
This
to
one
go
did.
about it in a certain way. They did change his origins a little bit.
I remember that
But the
fucking
movie
scene.
just, I mean, it started off with that blood rave, man. That
That blood
iconic
rave, that's
blood
what
rave,
stands out, man.
like
I'm
with the
just like-
music and
the
like the
vampires
loss
are-
and the
yep.
vampires and the bloodbath and Blade showing the fuck up and like everything about that, man. That song is perpetually stuck in my head in the best way.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just the styling of this movie. I mean, Wesley Snipes, dude, as fucking Blade, man. Like that's one of the best comic book castings of all time. And just the way it delivered, and of course you have the great Chris Christopherson as Abraham Whistler, and then fucking I'm blanking on his name as Deacon Frost. He was fucking badass, and just the way that back and forth, and then the plot twist. Or not plot twist, but like there was more secrets developed as the film kept going on. Like this movie was just fucking awesome, man.
Cool.
How many Blades came out? 3?
3.
Yeah, and there was a loose sequel TV show as well.
Oh, I don't know about the Lucy.
Yeah, no one really did. It was on Spike TV.
Yeah, I remember. I think out of the 3, I think the one that I watched was Blade 1.
Mm-hmm.
I may have seen scenes of Blade 2. Like, I remember the
Guillermo del Toro
visual.
did that one.
Yeah, I think that's the one that fucking stood out to me the most. Is that the one that had, like, this
The Reaper vampires?
massive... No. There's,
Yeah.
like, this massive overweight...
No, that's the
He
first
had
one.
That's the
Pearl.
first one, yeah.
Yeah.
And he kills him
Okay.
with
With
the
the
blade
UV lamp.
light.
She kills him with
the
the UV
machine.
lamp.
Yeah,
Yeah, the UV lamp. Yeah.
Fuck, man, that's opening memories I didn't really want to open again.
Yeah,
All right,
this
fuck
movie
it.
was
All right.
fucking yeah. So I mean, I don't know
Someone-
if Noel put up the blood rave scene.
He was looking at it.
Yeah, he
I
was
will.
looking it up. Samuel, what's your
All
next
right.
one? Rápido.
All right. Number 4 for me is Terminator 2
already did that
Judgment
one.
Day.
Go to
I
number three.
know. I know. But, I put
Yeah,
it much
it's
higher. Definitely above Godzilla. I feel like it was just a little bit better.
than that
A
one.
little bit
Okay.
better.
A little bit.
It was
Didn't
hard
have
for me.
It didn't have a radioactive
It was hard for
lizard.
me, but I thought Terminator 2 was better than Godzilla. Anyways,
I'm glad to see
Frank
it
to
there.
have that.
Yeah.
Frank to have
I'm glad we have that in common. Sam.
Yeah.
this is another one of those iconic movies. James Cameron. I mean, it's one of the best sequels of all time. I've watched it so many fucking times. Also watched it when it came out in theaters.
Nice.
I saw this movie in
What
theaters.
year?
It is
91.
1991.
90.
Yeah,
You remember
it was
that?
a rated R movie, and of course, it was embedded in my brain, man. The
Yeah.
whole "Hasta la vista, baby." the
Who
fucking
took you, by the way, if you don't mind me
my
asking?
parents.
Your parents.
Yeah.
At
I told
7
them
years old.
I want to see Terminator 2 because I was like infatuated with Arnold Schwarzenegger. For some reason, I
as
thought
any
it was
young child would be. As any
what, man?
child,
Arnold
yeah.
was a fucking star at this point. He was a superstar.
Yep.
I mean, and it just I wanted to see it, and I thought it was fucking fantastic. I mean, it's just a great movie. It was a great movie as a kid. It was a great movie as a teenager. It was a great movie as an adult. You
Yep.
see this theme
Yeah.
going on here.
Yep.
I was like, as I'm getting older, like it just reconfirms how great
Yeah.
this movie. Unlike Little Giants, and I got older, I was like, nope, not good.
Again,
This
I can,
was
I can separate my youth from my adulthood. Am I on serious?
Number
or
4.
Am I on
Number 4.
personal?
Hurry,
Who
hurry,
knows?
Fucking no.
No one
God
does.
Damn it! All right, then I'll fucking go with.
Goodwill Hunting was your last one.
Oh, okay. So that means I have to go with something soft now.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Rookie of the Year. Another fucking sports one. Yeah. Again, you guys didn't fucking. You know what? Fuck that. I'm not gonna go with my subjective anymore. I'm just gonna go with my objective.
I just haven't seen it.
No. Well, you guys are wrong for not having
It's bad.
seen it.
I have seen it.
It makes perfect sense
He
scientifically.
broke his arm.
Yeah, and
then
the
somehow-
cast was too tight.
And then somehow
So
he
now
could
he
just
could-
throw 100 mile per hour baseballs.
What part of that doesn't make sense, Sam? Show me your PhD. Show me your PhD that says that's not possible, and then I'll believe you. But until you do that, this movie made absolute perfect sense. A child
Cool, man.
breaks his arm, has to get a cast. The cast is too tight. The result being he can throw a ball at fucking 100 miles per hour. That's just the way it works. The result being he can throw a ball now at 100 miles per hour. It makes perfect fucking sense. If you don't want to
Okay.
buy it, fine. Okay, I'm gonna change it now though. I'm gonna go with the
Wait. No.
No.
You have to abide by what you.
Fine,
You have
that
to
was my
accept what you
fucking pick.
decided. All right. good.
moving
Go.
forward, I'm gonna go with
Arturo.
my
Moving on
The
to
mics.
number 3.
The mics aren't on.
They're not on.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. I can hear myself.
I can hear myself.
as well.
okay.
You can't hear you? You
No.
can't hear?
Okay.
Test.
Yeah, they're
Test.
recording.
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, go ahead.
The fuck.
Okay.
All right, so my number 3,
Maybe-
touching on the idea
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Now. Go.
what you were explaining about, like, you watched this as a kid, you watched this when you were older, and now as an adult, it's hit all that for you. This is a movie that I absolutely loved as a child, and because of that, I absolutely love as an adult. It is a movie that's been brought up several times throughout our history. It's a movie, Sam, that you absolutely deplore, and it's one of my
Godzilla
favorites
Part
of all
2.
time, and that is 1995's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
I will cheers to that, man.
I mean, I'm already done, but
Fuck yeah.
yeah, dude,
Yep.
that movie, man, was such a quintessential part of my childhood. I bought it on VHS before we owned a VHS
We had it
player.
on VHS too.
Like, we didn't even have the
We had
player
it
yet.
on VHS.
We
yeah.
didn't have the player. Like, I had to go to
Yeah.
my friend's house to watch it.
Yep.
Like, and I love this movie. We had the Happy Meals, like, and it's such an epitome of the '90s in the most cheesy,
Yeah.
ridiculous one-liner way.
Look to the art,
Like,
man.
I've never wanted to roller skate more in
God
my
damn it.
life.
Yeah, rollerblade.
Like
It wasn't
rollerblade, yes, right,
roller skate, it was
rollerblade.
rollerblade.
You're right. You're right.
And you're missing the part where they parachute.
I mean, that's
before
that
the
was so
rollerblade.
epic. The fact
That
that
intro,
happened.
man. That
Yeah,
intro
it was so
just
good.
Was
I
that
mean,
Red Hot Chili Peppers? I think the song. That
Action
they
Boy
had?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this just I just love this movie so much. I loved the series growing up as a kid. Like, I remember
Yep.
having the backpack,
How were
And,
you
like,
not into Power
it
Rangers?
it defined so much of my childhood. Like
Yeah.
my first crush was Kimberly, as was a lot of people's. Like I wanted to be Tommy for the martial arts aspect.
Sure.
Yeah. But like this, it just marked such a huge place in my childhood. I still have like my White Ranger Happy Meal figure from this.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And this movie's just fucking amazing, man. It's one of
And
the
it's your
best
number
that ever came out in the 90s.
Number three?
I think it's a very epic part
No, dude, I'm
of
with
cinema.
you, man. Listen, if it were up to me, man.
I'm just saying, you know.
If Arturo, dude, if it were up to me, man, you have no idea. This is what made it difficult, is because I was looking at these movies based on nostalgia and what they meant to me growing up, and this.
Yeah, that's
fucking
why.
Matilda. I can go through the fucking list of movies.
Matilda was actually pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of
So
movies,
was the Mighty
dude.
Morphin Power Rangers.
Fucking goofy
No.
movie, Babe.
Hearing,
Do you remember
I remember
Babe?
Babe. I do
I
remember.
do
Babe.
remember Babe.
These are all movies that I had
And you
on
know what?
VHS.
Babe is on my 90 honorable mentions.
And see,
but
these
not
are all.
Power Rangers.
Dude, come on. Welcome to my nightmare. Come on. That line
No,
alone.
man.
Yeah, I mean, when people talk about cinema, that line
Yes.
just
Look,
keeps coming
when
up.
we go through my honorable
And
mentions.
not to mention the CGI at the very end. With the Zords, come on.
Yep.
Way ahead of its time.
Yeah, man. No, I can see that.
Fantastic.
All right.
Fantastic.
No,
All right,
fucking
all
love
right,
this
here we
movie
go.
so much. So, Noel, have you ever seen this movie?
Hell yeah.
Okay, you were a little younger. I just want to make
Better,
sure.
bro.
All right, here we go. My number 3 is one that's already been talked about. Goodfellas. I don't understand how you could have this as your number 10. I believe it was.
Look, imagine all of my top 10 as being my number ones.
Okay,
That's what it is. That's what it is, man.
This is truly one of the best movies of the 90s.
It really
I
is.
mean, Martin Scorsese's probably his best movie he's ever made, I think. Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro. I mean, fuck, this cast is fucking amazing. Ray Liotta is amazing. This movie is just a great fucking movie. You need to watch
You
it.
had to watch
it's,
it,
it's,
Arturo.
it's
Yeah, no,
great.
I put it on my list.
Let's watch it here.
Yeah.
In terms of
down.
like mafia movies, there's The Godfather and The Goodfellas
Nah,
is right there.
Goodfellas is better than
You
Godfather.
haven't seen The Godfather. You can't say that. And I've
Yeah.
actually seen both movies, okay? And there wouldn't be a Goodfellas without The Godfather.
This is
by
true.
the way.
This
by the
is
way.
absolutely
so, So yes, this is it's just another take on the mob movie, but it's a completely different take from what came before it, and it pretty much defined what mob movie what mob movies were
you're gonna hug me?
after that. So
my arm.
fantastic, deserved all the Oscar nominations that
Yep.
it got. Joe Pesci won the Oscar for that
Yep.
role, which is a fantastic
Oh,
role.
fuck this role, man.
Yeah, go on, go.
I don't know. I was just gonna say, if you enjoyed Peaky Blinders,
Oh,
and
fuck
like
yeah.
that,
Yeah,
time-
no,
Yeah.
like,
like
this has been on my list for a
portrayal
while.
of a
Yeah.
time period where it was different.
I love
for-
Peaky Blinders. I love gangster movies.
I think when you
Godfather.
watch this movie, you're gonna realize, oh, this is where all that style
that come
came
from.
from.
Yep.
Like, so you'll start to see how much this movie has
let's
influenced
let's
everything
watch
that
it
came
here.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Great
to watch
movie,
it
yeah.
here.
I'll watch it anytime. Great movie.
For me, Forrest Gump, man. Forrest Gump is one of those '90s films that just
yeah.
fucking.
Is that your number three?
Number 3, or is
Yeah.
or are you
there's-
saving it for a different time?
Just bringing it up randomly.
Just bring- for me,
That was
Forrest
so
Gump-
out of nowhere.
For me, Forrest Gump, but it's not on my top 10.
I think.
That was so random.
Rookie of the year, so much better.
No,
Is
no,
that number 3?
absolutely. Like I said, I'm already shifting to my list of now as an adult.
So this is number
Looking
3.
back, this is my number 3.
Forrest Gump.
It's Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And it's still not strictly objective, but this movie, I think I cannot finish this list without mentioning the Forrest Gump movie as a '90s fucking masterpiece. Because
It is a masterpiece.
that's what it is, man. From beginning to end, the different portrayals of the different decades, the storyline, the struggles that he went through. The fact that I work in that field with developmental disabilities, and this is a person who clearly had one prior to it being as well known, as studied, and fucking supported as it is now. It just hits a little bit closer to home, you know?
Yeah.
So absolutely Forrest Gump, and the performances by everyone involved in this fucking movie, like and the fucking score and the cinematography. I mean, there's just you're going to wonder why this isn't my
Another
top
1994
number
movie.
one, but this is
I'm waiting
number
to
one
see.
and number two are more because they have an even subjective and objective for me. So if we were just going on strictly objective, I think this would be my number one.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, man.
That was
Forrest
a
Gump.
movie I wasn't until my like late 20s that I realized wasn't historically based on a real person.
It's hard. You'd
Growing
be
up,
confused.
I
man,
thought like,
they
wow,
make
this guy saw it. And then as a kid, like
This is
like,
the
I'm like-
inspiration for
like,
Imagine.
the scenes where they
John
like
Lennon.
interlay him and
Yeah.
shit. Like I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's real,
right?
You know,
See, like, he was
that
talking to
one
John
best
Lennon.
visual effects because
that's
it
wild.
was,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
were.
Yep.
No, and the thing before you
I was clearly fooled.
Before you move on with yours, the one thing
Yeah.
that I just fucking enjoyed was the fact that he told his entire life story
Just somebody on the bench.
waiting for
Multiple
a bus
people.
to
That's
go
true.
2 blocks.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that where like
Down
close
that
to-
way?
She's
Down
like
that way.
he just starts writing. He could have ran there from the beginning, but he told his whole life story waiting for a bus because of his autism, and I just fucking love that. That's where I relate to that. Anyway,
Go
go on,
for it,
Arturo.
My number 2 film is I've read it a couple times. It shouldn't become as a surprise, but that is 1998 9's Scream.
Yeah, I think it's 97. Or is it
I think
98?
it might be 97.
or 98.
Yeah.
Someone
Definitely not
fact check me.
99.
Scream. Great,
Please.
great movie.
Yes, fucking love Scream. I mean, Wes Craven, man.
Yes.
Like,
Is that correct?
Like
It's too blurry. I can't.
I can't tell. Yeah, the projector.
1996.
Oh,
No,
oh shit!
we
Yeah,
were-
we were all
like-
off. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
close.
That's true because Scream 1 and Scream 2 both came out in the 90s. But yeah, no, I mean this changed the game, man, for slashers. We had gotten to the point in the 80s where people weren't taking. I mean, no one was taking horror movies seriously from so many random sequels and everything had like very formulaic at this point. But the fact that this flipped it the way it did, I mean, the opening scene with Drew Barrymore being murdered, the fact that she was the biggest star on this and she's killed off in the very beginning, I mean, that set a precedent for the whole movies too. But I mean, it was just the fact that she wanted to be involved. She became like a silent producer. She was supposed to be Sydney, couldn't commit to it, but still wanted to do something, and it was like,
shit.
kill me off first. And it was, I mean, and then you have Billy Loomis. I mean, Ski Ulrich fucking killing it. I mean, everyone that was in this movie just did such a phenomenal job, and it created this lasting legacy of a franchise, and really
gonna say.
impacted things after this, and the whole whodunit aspect
Yeah.
of who the
No.
murderer is.
Just
I think-
the Scream character
Have
alone.
you seen the Scream film?
I've seen the first
little bit?
one when it came out, as everyone else did. I can't tell you that I've seen it recently enough to know a lot of the details, but I do remember the ending.
Okay.
I do remember the plot. Like, if you showed me a lineup of the different characters in Scream the original,
can point out
I would
who's
be
who.
able to point out
Nice.
who was the killers and how they did it. But I will say that the mask,
Ghostface.
that
come
Ghostface,
on.
if there was ever an impact in regards to the horror or Halloween or scary genre that made the most, I'm up there with the Jason mask, up there with the Michael Myers mask, is the Ghostface mask, and that was in our timeline.
Yeah.
like Michael
the
Myers.
fact that
and
Ghostface
Jason
stays
happened
like
before
stands
us.
up like with them, like
It-
that.
the Scream, the horror scary movie franchise
Oh, yeah.
was that.
You know what's funny is that that was a real costume. That
Yeah.
was just like a
They
regular
just picked it up off the
Halloween
store.
costume
There's a
in the
huge
store.
story behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
it
is. Did that person ever get any compensation
Well,
for
it,
this?
it's because like there's a lot of arguing as to like what exactly happened and who got the right,
Damn, that
payment
would
for
suck,
it
man.
and things
Just
like
imagine
that.
being the
like,
guy who like legit is the one that drew it or
Mm-hmm.
molded it or fucking created it. Either one of those.
Jesus,
three.
what
Ah!
the fuck?
It's a ghost face. Sneeze face. Imagine being that guy and now seeing the popularity and being like,
I mean, well, look at it. It's terrifying.
I'd be salty.
Like,
yeah, I would be also salty.
Yeah, I think this is another milestone movie, and you're right. This what's great about this movie is that it's a satire, and it's also
yeah, it's very aware. That was
it's
the
a
best
satire, and
part.
it's also a horror movie that's trying to be serious at the same time.
Yeah.
So, which is it's pretty genius. It's
flipped the script.
It's a very great screenplay.
did.
One of Wes Craven's great
Mm-hmm.
movies, horror movies, and yeah, man. Also one of my 90 honorable mentions.
Yeah, it's
it's a
fucking
good one.
amazing.
Tell it.
Hell yeah.
What's yours?
All right. My number 2 is starring one of the greatest actors of all time. I've talked about him so many times. He is
American Beauty.
American
I
Beauty.
fucking knew it. God
No, no.
damn it! I fucking knew it, man.
With Kevin Spacey, released in 1999, won the Best Picture Oscar. I mean, deservedly so. I think this movie
saw
is fucking beautiful.
don't know what
Again,
it's about.
when you had never seen it, have you
haven't
seen
either.
it? Has anybody in this room seen American Beauty? No, Jesus Christ.
No. Wait, is it the one where that guy gets caught having sex with the pie?
No, that's American Pie.
That's American Pie.
Also
okay.
released in 1999.
Yeah, that's
so
why I
many
was
good
asking.
movies in 99.
I'm sorry,
And it
man.
also
I'm
made
sorry.
my 90 honorable mentions.
Okay, go on.
But American Beauty, just a great movie about just the human condition and like just what is it that we find significant and beautiful in this world, and and meaningful. It's really about meaning and what we find meaning and stuff. And I'm a sucker for that type of topic. And it's got great performances. I know Kevin Spacey is not someone that people like nowadays, but he's still a great actor, no matter what kind of person he may be in
he's
regular
not.
life.
Just like that ventriloquist.
He's still a great actor. I
hearing
mean,
so much
Usual
about.
Suspects, another great movie in the 90s, also great.
He's the worst.
But yeah, I highly recommend this movie to
Okay.
anybody. It's truly one of my favorite movies of all time, and I've watched it so many times. It's fucking hilarious. It's
down for that.
it's a great dramedy. If you like that dramedy sort of style, this is like one of those movies that sort of created that dramedy formula that people now take for granted. And Annette Bening is in this as well. She's great in it. I mean, there's a great line. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a great line that's called "Fuck me, Your Majesty." You guys, when you see, if you ever see this movie and the line comes up, I think you're gonna laugh and remember.
Oh.
Maybe I will. I don't know if I'll watch it though. It's just
great. Yeah, I don't know how much more I can talk about. So you guys have never seen this movie, you don't know what I'm talking about. But it's
my younger
great.
brother, who's also in the business, loves this fucking movie. David
Who?
my younger brother.
Oh, David.
Huge
Payne-
fan
oh.
of this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
All
should
right.
be. Go.
My
two.
number 2 is, we mentioned it earlier today, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna close off strong with Shawshank
You're gonna
Redemption.
close off with your number 2?
No, I mean like the last 2 are gonna be strong for me.
Gotcha.
I'm not
Shawshank
putting away
Redemption.
anymore. Shawshank,
All
man, that just fucking movie, man. I can rewatch it anytime, any day, any hour. If it's on TV, if someone is watching it, I will sit down and watch it until the end. The storyline, the acting, the fucking just everything about it. At
Get
the
busy
ending,
living. Get busy dying.
yeah, man. That's. I'm gonna make it short because of time, but definitely fucking Shawshank number 2.
Fantastic movie.
Nice.
Also, hard. That one was a hard one to leave out. Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 1 is without a doubt has the most profound impact on me as a kid, as an adult. It is how are you called, milestone for sure.
Take your time on your number 1. I say,
And-
don't speed it. Take your
Yeah,
time.
no,
Yeah.
this
Number one movie.
the soundtrack, the directing, the cast, the subject matter,
I'm just.
and that is a sequel to Mighty Morphin Nuts. Turbo. No, and that is no other than Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Very
I mean,
nice.
That was my
man.
childhood movie. It's,
Yeah, I
it's
can see
yeah,
that.
and so tall. Like it's
do you
so
top that?
incredibly epic.
Yeah.
It's my favorite soundtrack, I think, of all theme song like of all time.
score. I mean,
Like the score, thank you. Dinosaurs, I'm a dinosaur nerd. I always have been. Like just seeing them be so real on screen. And I remember I didn't see it in theaters, but I got it on VHS. And that Christmas, I remember that Christmas forever is when I got it gifted, and it was the movie we watched after the unwrapping of gifts.
Oh.
So that's even intertwined into all that.
Damn.
And the fact that it's gotten so big in
Yeah.
terms of like just, I mean, yeah, the sequels too, but like, going on the ride at Universal when it was still Jurassic Park. I mean, even now, but like it just, it's so epic.
Yep.
It's an event. I don't know. Like I just love that fucking movie so much. I rewatch it randomly, and I can quote it for sure.
Yep.
And life will find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Also
I can
my top
absolutely
10.
go with that one, man.
All right.
What's your number one, Sam? Hurry.
My number one, and I think probably I
Oh.
haven't mentioned yet. So
And I might add real quick, it made me deathly scared of kitchens for a little bit. Just 'cause of the velociraptor
With the
scene.
raptors.
Yeah.
You're just thinking
I
the
mean,
velociraptors were gonna
well,
like come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, because not only was this movie, yes, it was like this big sci-fi adventure epic, but there was elements of this movie that was a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh,
like
absolutely,
especially with the raptors.
The suspense.
Like
Yep.
every time I was like in an unknown kitchen, I'd be like, I was just on edge.
Where are the
I wasn't
knives?
expecting velociraptors to show up, but I was on edge.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And yeah, man, that fucked me for a little bit, and yeah, I love that movie, and I remember just getting into the toys aspect of it, just everything, man. Like,
It's huge, man.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Yep.
the first time
All
I
right.
took my son out to see nature, I played Jurassic Park in the background.
You have to.
So
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
I want it.
All right. My number one, it's already been talked about, but I'll talk about it a little bit more, is 1994's Forrest Gump. This movie is pretty special for me because it was really the movie that got me into, I know this is going to sound pretentious, but like serious filmmaking or whatever. Like like before Forrest Gump, for me, like I didn't really understand like the beauty of the cinema and the film, and like I started to appreciate like all these things about like, oh, what's good acting and what's a good score and what's like a good like cinematography, all these things that make me sound pretentious and make people hate me and everything like that. It's because of Forrest Gump. And so it hits me in that way, but it also, personally, I just think it's a beautiful movie, and it makes me cry almost every time I watch it. When I think about it, it makes me emotional. There's a lot going on in this movie than people really like give it credit for. What's going on here, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna take some time here. I apologize.
Take your time,
I
man.
know
Take
it's
your
1
time.
a.m.
Take your
I know, Arturo, you
We've
need to
been
go
going
home.
for an hour and 22
I
minutes.
know.
I've been holding in my ear for
But
like 20 minutes.
there is a great juxtaposition as to Forrest Gump is supposed to be the stupid character, right?
Yeah.
And everybody he meets are supposed to be the normal, smart human beings and everything
Right.
like that. But there's stupid is as stupid does. All these normal human beings are doing very stupid things. They're fighting a war for like the worst reasons.
Yep.
They're being racist. They're being bullies. They're being assholes in all kinds of ways. Lieutenant Dan thinks that he has to die on the field in order to mean something, in order to be something significant.
Yeah.
Like, Forrest Gump is actually the one doing these things that actually are kind of meaningful. What does he care about? He cares about having love in his life. He cares about Jenny. Like, he doesn't really care about like whether someone's skin color is black or whether these Vietnamese are have a certain political affiliation or anything like that. Like, the stupid people in this movie isn't Forrest Gump. It's all the normal humans.
The ones that know what they're doing.
All the ones that think they know what they're doing, that think they know how to live their life, or think they know what's good or what's right, everything like that. And this movie is so beautiful in that way, to show the stupidity of humanity and how much we think we know what we're doing, but we really don't. We're all kind of like Forrest Gump, and we're just kind of living our lives and trying to make sense of it, and a lot of it doesn't make sense, but we do our best. We are more like Forrest Gump than we think we are, and these normal people that supposedly this movie is, not this movie, but supposedly are the smart normal people, they're really the stupid people who think they know that they know what they're doing, who think that they figured it all out. Like, they haven't figured it out. And that's why this movie is so fucking beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great performance. Everything about this movie, I love it so much. If I were dying, this would be one of the movies I would save before I die. So
Let me watch it before I die.
On to
yeah,
you.
man. Hey, I respect that shit,
So
man.
would this be on your deserted movies?
Yeah, I'm
Deserted
kind of
island
revealing that
movies?
right now.
Yeah.
You would be on an island eating In-N-Out watching Forrest Gump. There's no one else there.
It speaks a truth
Yeah.
about humanity.
It absolutely does, man.
Yeah, that I just
and
I love.
it highlighted a disability, I think, that before its time was really talked about and in the limelight, which is autism, because clearly Forrest he's on the autism spectrum, you know.
Yeah.
So that I think really paved the way, kind of. It brought it under that spotlight, and I for that and for
Put it on the
other
radar.
reasons, the score, the fucking acting, the script, the everything I enjoy. I never actually read the book, and I hear that the book
is
went
very
on.
different.
Yeah,
Oh.
I hear that the
I didn't realize
book
it was
went
based on
on. Like in the book, he goes into space.
Yeah,
With
it's
the
like
monkey.
ridiculous.
With
Like
the monkey.
it's good that they changed it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
good.
glad they did, man. They
Yeah.
did a good job.
All right,
My
let's
number
finish it
one again is I think a perfect mixture of my subjective and objective, and that's gonna be The Big Lebowski. and that movie, I kid you not, man, it's a perfect representation of what I feel is my persona, which is just fucking go with the flow.
Well, that's just your objective.
And that's just my opinion, man. You know, but he just again, I don't know if you guys are probably definitely not on the same page as mine, but I can go back and watch this fucking movie every single day for the rest of my life, and I think I will laugh at the exact same spots. I don't think I will ever get tired of this movie. I think that fucking the cast is amazing, the script is amazing, the storyline, and these are the same writers that did Dumb and Dumber, so it has that same touch of
No, it's not. It's the Coen brothers.
Coen Brothers. Sorry,
They did not do Dumb and Dumber. Those are
They
the Farrelly
didn't.
brothers.
Those are the Farley brothers. They're brothers, though, is what I meant to say.
not to
is
be
that these are two
confused
brothers
with
the Warner
the
brothers
Russo brothers.
and the Rousseau brothers. So no, but what I like about this movie is the fact that it's about nothing. Like ultimately, at the end of the movie,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it just ends.
It just ends.
It just ends. Like
Well,
they
have
had
you seen
these
this?
wild. They
No.
had these. Oh fuck! You guys have to watch this
It's good.
fucking movie, man.
haven't seen it,
It's
Arturo?
fucking great.
Arturo!
I was trying to deflect. I'm like,
damn it,
Noel.
man.
This would also replace Godzilla, I think.
It would. It absolutely would.
I just
man.
know the
sound-
quote. That's your opinion. I
that's
use
your
that gif a
opinion,
lot.
man. No,
Yeah.
man. But if you
Well,
want,
that's
like,
just your
that's
opinion, man.
That's just
Yeah.
that's a bummer, man. You know, it's shut the fuck up, Donnie. Like these are just fucking. That's my number one, man. And I'm fucking email me if you don't agree, but I don't give a shit. Out of the 90s, I feel like for me personally, the fucking very best movie that came out was The Big Lebowski. As an adult, as an adult, that I can now go back and choose one movie from the 90s, it's this one. Case
It's a good
closed.
one.
Period.
It's also in my
Yeah.
90 honorable mentions.
Nice.
It should have.
All right.
Number one.
We are like way late, and I know you have to go home, my friend.
He had to go
So,
home an hour ago.
Yeah, we're just gonna say I wanted to go through lightning round of the honorable mentions, but we don't have time.
That's
so,
why I mentioned them at
Air
the
Bud.
beginning.
Air Bud is by far the best movie that ever came out in the 90s. Forget everything I said. Go.
There's so many. God damn
That's
it.
it. Pick one. Air Bud is for mine.
Ah,
Ding, ding,
Point Break.
ding, ding. Point Break. Fucking
Fuck
nice.
yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Sam.
Boogie Nights,
ding.
American History X,
Fire
Truman
Code
Show.
Geos.
There you go.
Usual Suspects, Philadelphia, Green
That's
Mile,
where it
Reservoir Dogs.
ends.
You know what? I'm just gonna
Boogie Nights.